All right. Hello, Elle. What's up?
What's up?
Elle, how's it going? Elle Orlando in the mix here. Amanda Gail, slightly late, but it's okay. Amanda, if you're watching right now, don't worry about it. We're just getting started here. Episode 229 of the Ted Jones World podcast. Elle, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. More importantly, how was LA? You just got back.
It was awesome, kind of. I mean, it was good. Like, it was cool to experience. I'd never been there before, right?
Yeah.
And, the comics were way nicer than I thought they were going to be.
Okay.
I don't know. I think I'm just used to New York.
Well, you mean like a new face since you haven't been there before? Like people were pumped to see a new face, something like that?
I feel like comedy is just a little different. It's not as like punchy. Like obviously the really good comics out there are great. Yeah. And then it's like everyone else is, it's just like a different style. It's more like long story form, not a lot of punchlines. Okay. And so then me performing next to them, it just made me look amazing.
Well, also, I feel like the spots out there, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, are definitely longer than your typical 10-minute, New York set. Like most of the spots out there are like 15 minutes plus, no?
I just had 10.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. We were, the shows I was on, we were just doing 10, but yeah, I don't know. It made me, I liked it because it gave me a confidence boost. But then when I came back to New York, I was like, oh, I'm literally not shit.
Well, also, I feel like when you're in LA, or so many more people are doing like acting over like comedy out there,
Yeah, totally.
And then when you think about New York, it's way more so like there are way more comedians. Like when you're going to any given club, like there's a different lineup everywhere.
Yeah.
Like even, for example, like the Ted Jones Comedy Show or the show that Elle and Amanda so greatly produce. Like there's different comics every single time.
I feel like if I want to get good at comedy, you gotta
be in New York.
You gotta be in New York,
right? So a week in LA every year, that's probably, I feel like, what comics would say.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, I honestly I feel like I might go back there honestly in the summer just for another week, just because I feel like I made
you made a nice impression over there.
Yeah. They made me feel good about myself.
All right, well, that's good. Well, that's all we need is for you to feel good about yourself. So let's talk about New York. Let's talk about this show a little bit. It's a little tough to say that, by the way.
I know.
I will say the show.
It was supposed to be the shit show.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was also because it's the shit show.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, so it was supposed to be the shit show, but then for marketing purposes, I guess Facebook would flag it if it said shit.
Totally.
So
well, you also have the card right here, guys. If you can't see, I'm pulling up to the camera. If you guys are on Spotify, you'll see it right here in the camera. Also on YouTube, the show, and then it says "scan here" for 70% off. That's also a great little touch. I love this this QR code.
Oh, thank you.
By the way, Amanda, Gail, parking right now, so I'm sure you guys will hear the buzzer in a moment. So when did you guys start the show?
A year, almost. A little over a year ago.
And where'd you guys meet?
We met at Laughing Buddha. You
oh,
remember?
Nice. A little open mic?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So
Lounge at the time. Now
the Cellar 77. Yeah. I feel like that place has been a number of different comedy open mics.
Yeah. It was, but yeah, she was like my first friend.
Oh,
comedy.
That's so nice.
Like you got to feel that pain, I feel like, and
the hunger pains.
Yeah.
I still eat chickpeas and beans out of the can. That's like I that's just a weird thing that I do. I also feel like it's just easy to do, and I don't know, I guess I would be considered a hungry comic, but I also don't mind that with the hot suet and the yeast and stuff.
Wow.
It's a weird. Well, I'm vegan, so I don't have that many options, and I'm not a good cook. So whatever, I'll just throw stuff together.
Damn.
Yeah. What are you eating in Williamsburg?
I just started buying groceries.
So you're cooking big time now.
It's hard.
Look for Amanda.
It's hard. I eat a lot of pickles. A lot of pickles and carrots.
Like with a sandwich? Pickles and carrots. I feel like pickles are so much better than carrots. Why would you drop off after pickles?
I like them both. I switch off pickles, carrots, hummus. It's I don't like to cook either.
Nice. So you put carrots and hummus.
Yeah.
Very healthy. Pickles and hummus though? No, you can't do that.
Just straight pickles.
Okay. Are you Jewish?
No.
Orlando, I guess. Not such a Jewish name. But I was just wondering with the pickles. Yeah.
I like vinegar.
Okay.
I'm a vinegary.
I would eat a lot of pickles. I don't know. Sometimes I would just overdose on the pickles because you look and see it's like 5 calories per pickle, but then you look down at the sodium, you have too many of those, you just be freaking dry the rest of the day.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. But I went vegan for like 6 months, honestly.
7
7 months.
That's impressive though. So no cheese, no eggs, no fish.
No. Pure vegan. Like,
wow. What made you do that? What was the starting point?
Okay, it's so stupid, but I had to run like a half marathon because my aunt like signed me up and she's like, "Hey,
what?"
I know. She was like, "If you run this marathon, I'll pay for this trip to Disney for us." And like my family's from Florida and so we love Disney.
Okay.
Like, I think that's so much fun.
Right.
And like
you should have just ran to Disney like at that point. Yes, half marathon and running to Disney a little bit further, but
a little bit further. But and I didn't want to like train for the marathon, and so I watched this Netflix documentary.
Game Changers.
Yes.
That'll make you go vegan. I'm telling you, if you guys have never seen it on Netflix, one of the better documentaries, and also it pulls you in. There are other vegan documentaries that are boring AF. They just talk about the climate and they talk about the freaking CO2, which is the climate, and the cows and stuff like that. But like Game Changers, as you know, and if you guys have ever seen it, it shows the transformation of a big time athlete performing better after he went vegan, you know, and stuff, and like the blood in his body and stuff like that. So you saw Game Changers, and then what happened?
And then I was like, this is how I can run a half marathon plus like a 9-mile marathon or whatever. I had to run 2 marathons without training. And so I did it. I went vegan and then I ran the marathons and it was totally fine.
And wait, so why did you had to run 2 though to go to Disney World?
Yeah. I had to run a half and then I had to run a half marathon and then 7 more miles.
I'm confused. Why another 7 after that?
It's like there's 3
that's
marathons.
Like 3/4 of a marathon.
I know. There's 3 marathons you can run. It's like a full, a half, and then like
a 3/4.
Yeah.
And where was it? It was in Florida?
Yeah, it was in Disney.
Well, you were already there though, it seems like. So you maybe didn't potentially have to do it. But you stuck to your word. That's good.
Yeah.
So
it was good, I guess. I mean, I'm assuming I lost some weight from it. I don't know.
You're a runner though, in general, or that was the first time you've ever ran?
I've ran before, but I don't know. I feel like I have enough athletic ability where I have this like idea that I can do stuff like that on a whim.
Okay.
When I probably can't.
Were you an athlete in high school?
Yeah.
What'd you play?
Soccer.
Okay. Did you have any college aspirations, like play soccer in college?
No, my parents got so intense about soccer because I was like really good from a young age. And so they were like, oh, you're going to be a soccer star and all you're going to do is play soccer. And I'm like, oh, this isn't fun anymore. I don't want to do it. So
You didn't play in high school? I
played in high school.
Not as seriously?
And then I quit senior year because I was just like, everyone was like too down my neck about it. And so then I actually started playing again when I moved to New York. I was like in this really intense like co-ed league, and I forget what it's called.
Was it like Zip Sports or something?
No, it was like the top co-ed league in New York.
What, do you have to try out for that?
Yeah, I tried out.
Oh, wow.
I made it. And I played like 3 games and I was so out. I was like, you guys are, because you're playing against men and they're going for your knees and your ankles.
Going for the shins.
Yeah.
Slide tackle.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not going to get hurt as an adult. Like,
how often were you playing though? It was like once a week practice, once a week game?
No, it was all games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it's what, like an hour and a half a week for the game?
Yeah. But they're like intense. You're playing like for your fucking life every game. Yeah, no, I couldn't do it. I was like, I quit.
So how often are you booked now on the comedy scene? By the way, I don't know if I introduced that well enough in the beginning. Elle Orlando, a comic. That's why I was talking about this show. But anyway, yes. How often are you booked these days besides your show?
I don't know.
Like 5 days a week?
I would say minimum 4.
Okay.
That's, I think.
To say that I would like more spots, maybe, but at some point it would just get overwhelming. And I do really like producing the shows. Like I'm sure you love producing shows as well. And then just doing the podcast and doing the vlog, it's a lot. So
it is a lot.
So I'm good with the workload for sure.
Yeah. And your show's weekly?
At the Stand, it's bi-weekly, and then we do at Asylum, which is not bi-weekly now. It's like, but it's approaching that. So it's looking like about like every 10 days we have a comedy night with Ted Jones or Ted Jones Comedy Show. So it's, I mean, like this past year, I mean, like I've said, it's been great getting to know like a ton of people and forming relationships. But I think at some point, you know, I'd like to turn it down and just kind of focus on my own stuff, you know, just because like when you're doing a spot anywhere in the city, I mean, you're not so focused on, all right, how many people are going to be there? What are the ticket sales? How long is everybody doing? You know, when they just have you on a random comedy show, it's a lot easier. You just show up, do whatever you got to do and leave.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so much less stressful, but it's also, you definitely appreciate it more from producing your own show. Cause you're like, I know this is probably especially if the crowd is full, you know, that's a lot of work to get people there.
One second, Amanda's calling. 1 second.
I'll just talk. Hey guys.
Yeah, just talk. Let me know how you're doing.
What's going on? What have I done with my day?
Yeah, let us know.
Well, you know, my best friend, I don't know if any of you out there has witnessed this or has this happen to you, but your best friend for forever gets pregnant, and then you realize your friendship is over. Like it was hanging by a thread.
Well, she just got pregnant though, or it's been a little bit?
She just got pregnant. Well, I mean, you don't really announce you're pregnant until like 6 months.
Yeah.
So it's been, the baby's coming, but you know, you were best friends, and then she got married, hanging by a thread, and now she's pregnant, and it's kind of over.
Does she live in New York?
She lives in Austin.
Oh, well, I mean, that's tough to like maintain a friendship when somebody lives in Austin, though.
I know.
Well, especially when she's pregnant.
It was just kind of the idea that we were still best friends, but then now with this baby, she's never gonna remember me. Your friends kind of birth your biggest enemy, you know, which is their children.
Right. Well, then also when a baby's born, don't they like, well, I mean, it depending, there's Amanda. Depending if it's a guy or a girl, like the baby usually is protective over the mother or husband, right?
Oh, you think the baby? Yeah, maybe when they're young.
That's what I've heard.
Oh.
Yeah, when they're young. Like when you're like breastfeeding and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is my boob. All right, well, I mean, if your friend has been pregnant for 6 months now, when do people actually tell other people that they're pregnant? 6 months?
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's so there's not any, just in case anything bad happens? Yeah, miscarriages.
Those things. I think it's just because the chance of miscarriage is high during that time, so you don't want to tell people and be like, oh, just kidding. It's
true. Hi, Amanda. Amanda, what's up? Say hello.
Hello.
Amanda is here. Well, you got a nice little Diet Coke. Perfect. If I can just have you take off your shoes. All good. Welcome, Amanda Gail, to the podcast. We've been talking. Good to see you. I'm going to have you sit here. Can I get you any water or an iced coffee?
No, it's good. I'll just drink my
Well, you look great. Your hair looks good. Did you just get it done?
No, I did myself, actually.
Oh.
Appreciate that compliment.
Yeah, you got it. So Elle and I were just talking about having babies and how you got to wait. Yeah. You got to wait 6 months to tell people.
Oh, I put 3.
That's what I was kind of thinking.
Is it
I
3?
thought it was 3 months. 6 months, maybe your friend should have told you a little earlier.
Maybe she's not my best friend.
Yeah, well, I don't know. And we've talked about a few things now. Amanda Gail, say hello to the camera over there. Hi. You're ready to go. If you want to just put those headphones on, we'll do a quick audio check.
Hey.
And we're doing this great. Amazing.
This is so high tech and awesome.
You hear? You're
I'm
good?
Impressed. Yeah, I'm very impressed. With
Okay, cool. So now we have the full squad here, the full squad.
Yeah.
I just I showed the card that I got from one of your shows. Very cool.
yeah.
The QR code. So you guys started the show about a year ago now.
Yeah, February 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, nice. And since when have you been doing it at the West Side Comedy Club and Comedy Shop? Because you guys used to do it at Baby Brasa in West Village, right?
That was the first place we did it.
Yeah.
Okay, because I remember first seeing it probably this summer. And like I stopped by one time, but like what was the situation? It was just like outside on the kind of deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people like, I mean, it was cool during the pandemic, but then eventually, like, everyone was over. Like, our attention spans can't handle an indoor-outdoor situation anymore, and we were just like, we got to get inside somewhere, you know?
Yeah. Comedy needs walls, you know?
Yeah, it really does.
Right, because there was like a screen on the outside of it, right?
Yeah, just
It was like a tent. It was like,
Yeah, and they used to, like, if it was someone's birthday in the other tent, they were like, yeah, fuck your life. We're going to sing happy birthday as loud as we can.
we were always battling with like music because they would have music on that side and it would be comedy, and it's just like we can't. We're just battling each other. Like the arts are just
Yeah, it's a civil war of the arts.
Yeah.
That's
And I feel like also at a restaurant like that, like they wanted to take full advantage of every outdoor space that they have.
yeah.
Yeah, and they were trying to like really press like a $60 dinner on us, like for each guest, and it's just like that.
So
doesn't
that
make
was the ticket, $60.
No. They like eventually at the end they're like, how do we get every audience member to spend $60 like when they come here? And it's like
You're like, I don't know. Tell me if you find out.
Yeah.
It's also like most comedy shows. I don't know how they do it at the Comedy Shop and West Side Comedy Club, but they usually charge like a minimum. Every place, like besides the Stand, for what I know, is like they do it's like a ticket and then it's a drink minimum too, also, right?
Yeah, 2 drink minimum.
Yeah.
Is that how they do it at the places that you guys do it?
Comedy Shop, yes. West Side, I believe so.
Yeah.
I never really figured that out.
that's
And then
pretty
also, is it
standard.
21 plus? That's always something I really don't know.
I don't think West Side is.
I don't think West Side is, but Comedy Shop is.
Why is that? Why is it different?
I think it's just because
It's a bar.
But
but
don't they serve alcohol at like all of these places?
But they're not like bars. I actually don't know what the New York City law is.
yeah, I have no idea.
I don't know. Okay. Where are you coming from, Amanda?
I'm coming from my apartment in Hoboken,
Nice.
Jersey.
Okay.
So
and
if
you,
I smell bad, that's why.
and you drove here?
I drove here. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. I usually take the pass train when I go. I used to go to Journal Square all the time. I was telling Elle that I used to work at my dad's company for a number of years.
Oh, nice.
So I would take the path train like 40 minutes from 23rd Street to Journal Square.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I was there like once or twice a week.
What did your dad do?
Haven't been there in a long time. Well, I was a property manager for my dad's company, like real
nice.
estate company. So I'd make sure that everything was good in the building, heating, piping, gas, whatever, property manager stuff. And then I was also telling Elle, like, about almost a year ago now is like when I've done comedy full time, producing shows, doing this podcast, doing the vlog. So it's been fun. It's been a fun year.
Well, you're killing it. So
Thank you.
keep
I
going.
You are
appreciate
killing
it. So what else, guys? What should we? I feel like we should have a discussion that we could just stamp mark right here. So what do you guys want to talk about?
Do you guys want a trauma bond?
Yeah, sure. What happened? What do you mean? What happened today that there's a trauma bond? Also, do you want water? I haven't given you water yet. Coffee?
You're such a good host.
Wait, you
Ted.
want water?
I'm good with Diet Coke. I'm like an older Jewish woman.
Okay.
Diet Coke, like,
Yeah.
I pound it. It's so stupid. Why is it so good?
Yeah.
You're either a Diet Coke person or a Coca-Cola person.
Well, which is
that's facts,
what's the
yeah.
best Diet Coke though? There's always a debate over that.
None. Zero Diet Coke.
You don't like Diet Coke?
No, I like Coca-Cola.
Oh, that's right. That's like a Mexican thing, though. Mexican people. Well, I didn't mean that like racistly, but like Mexico loves Diet Coke.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean regular
That's
Coke.
Mexican.
Yeah.
Regular Coke. Yeah, Elle is just very Mexican.
It's the most Mexican
The
part.
one from the fountain. Both of them from the fountain, I think, are the best. I don't know why.
Fountain is the
It's
best.
just they put more syrup in it and they don't like coagulate it good enough, or as well as they do the.
In the can, it
The
tastes
cans.
good. Yeah, but McDonald's fountain soda is really good. Do you guys like?
Oh yeah, McDonald's. Yeah.
I haven't been to McDonald's in so long because I'm a vegan. I was telling
vegan.
Elle too.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're not at all vegan stuff.
I eat a lot of salads, but I don't eat a lot of meat, I'd say, but I'm not like anti-meat, If it's around, it's around.
Yeah, I hear you. That's like how I felt for so long. I was just eating whatever. But like now being vegan, I feel like the one advantage I have is like if I'm drunk and there's a birthday cake in front of me, I won't eat it. Usually because there's egg in it.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, but like that's the only thing I'll really hold myself back from if there's egg in it.
How long have you been vegan for?
Fully about a year and a half. I stopped eating fish, but before that, probably like 2.5 years. So I stopped eating fish like a year and a half ago.
Is it health reasons or is it like?
I think it's how,
ethical?
you know what? I think it's all the good things. But like it started off as I had jaw surgery, so I really couldn't chew meat at all for like close to 6 months. So I was eating fruits, oatmeal, vegetables, whatever was really soft. And then I kind of just made the transition to only eating vegan stuff.
Oh, okay.
And it's been pretty smooth just because like there's so many options, I feel like, in Manhattan, especially for vegan foods. Like I can just go on and see whatever it is, like 30 options to order from.
Yeah, I lean towards vegan food more often. Meat just started grossing me out, you know?
Yeah.
And I've never fully gotten ungrossed out by meat.
Well, also, I feel like when you watch some of these documentaries that are anti-meat, I mean, that's what'll put you anti-meat.
Did you
Yes.
see What the Health?
Yeah, we were.
Holy shit! You saw What the Health?
No.
You haven't seen that?
You
No.
will never eat meat again, and when you see that, you won't want to eat anything.
But you did.
I know. That's true. But for a minute, I'm like, oh my god, this is dirty. This
Did you
is
see
like
Game Changers also?
No, I didn't see that.
This is basically just like an athlete who, what did he was like an MMA guy. And
Yeah.
he switched
Oh, yeah,
from eating
yeah.
meat to only eating plants. And then he was doing that, you know, the thing.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
thing at the gym when he whipped that thing. His record was like 20 minutes,
Wow.
I think, or maybe
Yeah.
it was even less than that. And then after he switched to like not eating meat, it was 60 minutes. So it just like clears your blood, better
Yes.
blood flow,
Yeah.
more clarity. I don't know, but I think it's the wave of the future, and like we can't eat meat for that much longer.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, I hate to be that guy who's like pressing vegan on anyone, and I don't think I am, but I just think in general things are gonna start to change and whatever it is in terms of like not having meat at restaurants.
Well, it's bad for the environment. It takes
Terrible.
so much carbon.
Whatever,
I'm gonna
yeah.
say it wrong. It takes a lot of the carbon footprint.
Yeah,
stuff to, like,
yeah. You have like a huge carbon footprint in making meat. That's what
Yes.
it is.
Yeah, there it is.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Whatever. But that's boring, guys. Let's talk about the comedy show. Let's talk about how you guys
Yeah.
first met. You guys met at Laughing Buddha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very exciting. So
Yeah.
let's talk about the first time you guys laid eyes on each other and you were like, oh, we should produce a show together.
The first time, no, I just said like good set. Like I thought she was really good.
Oh
you know,
my,
like,
and
it's a good set.
that's like a comic's like, I love you or you're perfect.
You're hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That is like a hey.
So you said good set, and then how did it go from there?
We just saw each other around.
What? Yeah. We saw each other at Laughing Buddha, and I think we just like hung out a little bit, and we just kept on seeing each other at mics. And you're like, we should start a show. And I remember being like, I just started comedy. I'm so bad. I could never. And you're like, no, you can start a show. And so I just like, I didn't know how comedy worked really. I didn't know like, I don't know how to get, or like just the progression of like being a comedian. And then the pandemic hit, can't say pandemic. And then forgot how to say.
Yeah, we're going to get demonetized.
Yeah. And then after I came back to the city, I like hit Amanda up and I was like, we should start that show.
Yeah.
So did you guys start it before the pandemic or was it after?
Before.
What was like the end of it, right?
Oh,
So
like
March
the show?
2020 it started, the
March-
pandemic.
Oh,
I'm talking
yeah.
about.
So March 2020, but then we got drinks because I remember we were at that restaurant in January 2021.
Yeah.
No, it must no
2020.
It was November or like December
Yeah,
2020. We
yeah.
got drinks and we were
Yeah.
eating and we're talking and we're like, we should just start one. And I don't even think we're just like, I think you said, oh, my friend like knows restaurants.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, that sounds fun. Let's just do it. Like, no. And then we were looking at for certain places and then we found Baby Brasa and we're like, all right, let's do it. And then it just like, you know, so that was February 2021. Our first show was February 15th.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
President's
day after
Day.
Valentine's Day.
It was President's Day, Monday, the President's Day.
Who reached out to the club?
I think you did.
Well, yeah, it was just it's a restaurant, Baby Brasa, but yeah, I reached out to them because I like randomly went there for a drunk bingo night and I was just like, this would be a good place to do comedy,
yeah.
Uh-huh.
I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But were you guys the only ones who did shows there, or were there other people who did shows
No,
there?
there
But
was.
there
'Cause I
was
think I remember
other
seeing
people.
other people.
There was people who did shows there before us, but it was a weird time in the pandemic where everything was closing again. So our show was like the only show that was kind of open at the time or like running at the time.
So in terms of booking comics, how do you guys break it up? And you guys usually have like what, 6 to 8 people per show?
Yeah.
It's like 2 each, and then
Yeah.
headliner. It goes like maybe she'll book one show, I'll book one show. But I think it's really good. We're on kind of the same page of the level of comedians. We're right.
Yeah.
Understood. So how many shows a week are you doing? Just you, because I see you're booked probably almost every night.
Produced. I'm producing.
Well, I meant just Amanda Gail.
Am I doing
on the show.
about 4 or 5 a week
Okay.
for sure? 4 at least.
And
yeah.
you're comfortable with that amount?
Yeah. It's exhausting, but I mean everyone's exhausted, so I don't
Yeah.
complain because it's,
Well, I see
mean,
some
I do
people. Well, I see some people doing like 3 to 4 spots a night. First, like scheduling that and figuring out how to get from Bushwick and the tiny cupboard out there all the way up to that comic strip and stuff like that.
Yeah, Uber helps, and you just have to be like, oh, I'll go early, But I agree. I don't like the multiple spots a night because I don't have energy the second show. Like it doesn't revive me. When I do it, I don't say no. I say yes to everything anyone asks me.
Yeah.
But like if I have 3 shows a night, even I'm just like I don't fucking this joke. You guys like this? I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I'm so tired. I can't say this thing anymore. I get like that personally.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then also when you're like saying the same stuff multiple times a night, I don't know. Like I would always like to kind of smile or like give a little giggle laugh. And sometimes I'm like, all right, I said this thing 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Like I'm cool with doing it. Like, okay, yes, I said it like 5 hours ago when I was practicing doing it, but
Exactly.
at a certain time, you
Yeah.
want to mix it up a ton. So how much time do you think you're most comfortable doing, Elle? If somebody was like, all right, get up there and we're going to give you the mic until you tap out, how much time do you think you're comfortable with up there?
I would say 20.
20?
Like comfortable, yeah.
What about you, Amanda?
15. I feel like you get the point. You get my story after 12. You're like, we get it. Single,
also-
Jewish, we get it.
From Jersey.
Yeah, we get it. All
But
right.
so the thing is, in New York, I mean, for the most part, when you guys think about comedy clubs or you go to any comedy shows in general, I mean, 15 to 20 minutes is the most amount of time you'll do on a show. And it's usually like, I mean, how do you guys usually do like 10 minutes on this show? You have comics do 10 minutes?
Yeah, 10. Now it's usually 10, but like on other shows, like 10, 8, 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's usually the amount of time like I find giving other comics as well. I mean, it depends if there's like a hard out after an hour 30 minutes or like there's an out after an hour and 45 minutes. But yeah, just in general, it's usually the time I find.
Yeah, there was a show that went on for like 4 hours. I was hosting. Yeah, it was
And you hosted the whole 4?
Yeah,
Wow, it's
a
crazy.
4-hour show. Well, because we were waiting on
One guy for like 3 hours.
Yeah, we were waiting. Well, we weren't waiting on him that long. Like I think everyone was kind of going a little slow. But then Mark Norman was booked, and so people were and a lot of people bought tickets to see him, and so he was just running late, and so everyone waited, for him, and then he came and he did like, I don't know, like 15, 20 minutes.
So wait, but you were hosting it and you were like, all right, guys, we're going to pause this for about 45 minutes.
No.
And wait.
Well, Shafi, like, there was a couple comics who did, extra time.
More time.
People went up again.
Yeah, people went up again.
You just ran the whole show back. I've had like stressful moments like that too, but a 4-hour comedy show is beyond.
Isn't that crazy?
Good for you. That's awesome.
Yeah. Where was that?
That's awesome.
It was in Williamsburg. It's called like Parquet something. I don't
That's
know.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll just get, for most comedy shows, I'll get stressed. But yeah, in a situation like that, people like bailing at the last minute, or you have to wait for them for 45 minutes.
Oh, that is.
You just like bump
bailing-
mics with them.
Yeah, like bailing is like whatever. You could find another comic. It's like okay, whatever. But like they're showing up late, and you're like there's no comic here.
Well,
like,
let me ask you guys this: do
Yeah.
you book comics based on like a time? Because initially, I was just I would tell people like, oh yeah, the show's at 7, and then I'd let comics come as they want, whatever. We'll book the lineup as people come. But like now, I've been booking comics and being like, okay, show up at 7:15 and doing their set time. Because I feel like comics are less likely to be late if you give them a specific time rather than like just show up whenever you want.
Totally,
You know?
yeah,
And then you
wait.
get so stressed like it's 7:45 and half of the comics aren't here yet. I'm like,
Yeah,
all right,
yeah,
guys,
yeah.
what is going on?
That's smart. That's really smart. That's
Yeah,
so true.
that is a good idea.
It just tricked comics into being on
Yeah,
time.
literally.
That's
Because
great.
then they're like, oh, I could be 15 minutes late from the time he gave me rather than
Yeah.
being an hour and a half late from the show
True.
start date
That's true.
Yeah.
or whatever. So maybe
Yeah,
that's
we just
a
give
good
out the
little thing.
lineup the day of, and I guess people kind of figure out what time that would be because we usually start in time.
Oh,
But I mean,
right,
that's
right.
Your idea is good too. That's-
Yeah. So I was talking to Elle before you got here about LA and the vibe over there. Have you been to LA?
No, I haven't. Not to do comedy. I've never done it.
When are you going to LA? Do you know?
I haven't planned a trip, but maybe I would next year. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
I actually have no aspirations to go there, but
Yeah.
I would. I'm not opposed-
Yeah. I wouldn't have gone there, but my
Yeah, how'd you end
friend
up out
was. So my friend, the first reason I went there, my friend was getting like a knee surgery out there. She lives in California already, and so she's was getting it done in LA, and she's like, "Hey, can you come take care of me?" Because she doesn't have
that's
like
sweet.
That's really
parents
nice.
or
This
anything.
sounds like a better friend than the one in Austin. Sorry for the one.
yeah. My friend in Austin's having a baby on me. But yeah, so yeah, she asked me to come out, and she's like, "Yeah, I'll pay for the Airbnb. Like, you can have my
dope.
car." And so it was like just a really sweet deal, and so it all worked out. But then it kind of sparked like an idea in my brain, because I was like, "Oh, I have family in like Fort Lauderdale. I have family in Chicago. Like, I should just be going to these places
Totally.
and doing comedy in these
Yeah.
places." Yeah.
Good.
Have you been outside of New York or New Jersey to really be doing comedy? I mean, I see you're doing shows like all over the place, but like traveling far.
Traveling far. Where's
Yeah.
the far? I mean, Pennsylvania, Scranton, like the farthest I've gone for comedy.
That's far.
Where else have I gone? No major city. I should do more. Like I want to do more. Like if I'm going somewhere, find, where can I get up?
Yeah.
It's just It's just like another. Like if
It's
you're
anxiety,
it's
yeah.
anxiety, right? And then
Yeah.
you're like, do I want to do a bar? I don't know. No disrespect to bar shows at all. I don't know.
Bar shows in other states besides New York may not have as high of a credibility as like in New York. Because you can go to a bar show in New York
Yeah,
and have
exactly.
like the
Yeah.
craziest lineup of
Yeah.
comedy you've ever seen.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like bar shows in New York are just so different than probably any other bar shows like in the country,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like a little club in itself.
Yeah. The indie scene is awesome in New York. There's
Yeah.
no indie scene.
Yeah,
like
it's
this.
not. Yeah, it's not even really an indie scene. Like you can go to a
Yeah.
show in Bushwick, and it's just as like one of the crazier shows anyone's probably ever seen. I don't know. I think there is something to be said for paying for a comedy show. How do you guys kind of feel between a free comedy show and then shows that go up to $20? Do you find that like some of the shows that people pay $20 for are better than the free shows? What do you guys feel about that?
I think it's just for us. We started with a free show, and the only reason why we stopped doing a free show is because people would book a reservation and then not show up. So I feel like it was just all like
Okay.
credibility.
Oh, God,
you know?
remember that?
Yeah,
Our-
we sold out
We
and
sold
nobody
out.
showed
It was-
up.
That was
No way.
That was
It was so
traumatizing.
How
embarrassing.
many seats did you guys sell out?
Like 25?
No, it was like 30,
It was
30 to 40. Yeah.
It was our second show at Baby Brasa, and we were like getting tickets like this, like wow, we're gonna have a sold out show, and then 3 people showed up.
It was still. Was
It
it
was
still in it?
humiliating. It was at Baby
Eventbrite
Brasa.
thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
was actually humiliating.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was like because we're like advertising, we're sold out.
Yeah, and then nobody showed up. It was so embarrassing. And then we never did that again. And I think people do think like, oh, I paid like $10.
Yeah.
Like I'm expecting something
Yeah.
out of
Yeah.
this. And even like $20. It's funny to see like what people think is too expensive for comedy. Like some people like I feel like $20 is not like I would pay $20 to see a good anything.
The only thing I would say about that, and like, don't listen too much because obviously you guys know Ted Jones Comedy Show is $20, but like sometimes you'll have to pay the tax, and then you also have to do like the drinks and food on top of that, which at none of the Ted Jones Comedy Shows, Comedy Night with Ted Jones or the show, you have to pay extra money, right?
No.
Yeah, so there's no like drink minimum or whatever, but I can understand if somebody's going to a comedy show, they're spending $25 on the ticket, and then they have like a 2-drink minimum, and it ends up being like, I don't know, $75 a person. Maybe that's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, in general, I feel like $20 is very reasonable for a
Yeah.
comedy show.
Totally.
Especially
Yeah.
it's like an hour and a half and potentially better than a movie if you were to go to a movie theater. But I don't know, the movie theater prices are just as expensive.
Right, that's a good
Popcorn's
point.
like $30.
If
Yeah.
not more. Movie theaters are like $40.
What,
feel like.
really?
Honestly, like for 2 people, yeah, it's like $40.
Well, you got to get the snacks,
And
the
you gotta get the
popcorn. You
snacks.
have to.
Yeah.
Also, I was watching this thing on YouTube that they attract you in with all the menus and like
Yeah.
the size of the candy is bigger and
Oh
stuff
my
like
God.
that.
Yeah.
I haven't been to a movie in a very long
Neither
time
have
though.
I. I guess Netflix, it's like, why go to a movie? You
Yeah,
got
have everything, the
streaming and
Hulu or
everything on
whatever.
your- Yeah.
I mean, the last time I probably went to a movie was like a date, like years ago. Do you guys have boyfriends or whatever? We'll talk about that. Good transition, Ted.
Ooh,
Yeah,
fun.
I know you do, Amanda.
I do have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Do you, Elle?
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
Oh,
She will.
What do you mean she will?
I don't know. She will.
It's like a wink to
One
me.
day,
We were talking about like Elle and I having a baby before Amanda hopped in the podcast. So yes,
Maybe
hopefully.
after tonight, after this podcast,
How long have you been with your boyfriend?
it'll be a year, April 28th.
Nice. And one time I saw you guys. Where were you? In the South, in Mississippi. I saw
Oh,
that on like your
yes.
Facebook profile. Is that where he's from?
No, Well, so my dream trip, like people fantasize about going to like Bahamas, Europe. I've always wanted to do a road trip across the United States.
Oh wow, okay.
I just want to go to every state. Like that's my bucket
Nice.
list. Like hit all the states. So I've always wanted to do a Southeast road trip because I find the Southeast fascinating because I'm from the Northeast and the cultures are very
Might as
different.
well go to the Southeast.
I know,
What does that look like?
It's gorgeous. Like you're from Fort Lauderdale. It's the Southeast, but have you been to Mississippi?
Alabama. Yeah.
Where do you turn though? You go like east at where? Like Virginia, something like that?
Well, we
Or
actually
west?
ended up driving. We flew to Atlanta and we did a road trip from Atlanta to New Orleans. And we stopped in Montgomery, Alabama, and then we stopped at Biloxi, Mississippi, and we went to the beaches in Mississippi, and it was actually gorgeous.
I didn't really know. I don't think I knew there were beaches there. I used to have a map up here, but now we just have the sign. All right, nice. So you went to Mississippi. How was the culture down there?
Okay, so Mississippi, it's like Atlantic City of the South. So it's like similar crowds
So
to
it's
Atlantic
great.
City.
It's
Yeah,
nice.
it's great. What would I say? I don't know. We didn't really embrace ourselves in the culture, right? Because you're in the hotel, but you just see the state and the beaches there. The gorgeous sand, but I think it's man-made. It's golf water, so it's not ocean.
Is that what golf means? It's man-made?
Or it's not man-made. It's like the beach itself. Like they put the sand there. I don't mean the Gulf Coast is man-made. I mean like the beach.
Yeah.
The beach
sand.
itself.
Yeah, like sand. They put the sand there.
They put the sand there, so it's like a man-made beach.
Yeah.
It's real water from the Gulf, but it's a man-made beach. So the beach,
right.
the sand is like impeccable,
Oh, interesting.
So
yeah.
it's nice, but Biloxi closes at 10, and I don't know if it's because I don't know if it's because it's like a Bible state or because of the safety. Because there's
What do you mean close at 10? Like the restaurants and everything is like no clubbing?
Casinos close at 10. I think it's not the safest
10
area.
every night?
Yeah.
So how is there any evening activities past 10? Like, I mean, you say it's closed, but like, it's for real closed?
Yeah, so the casinos close I don't know. It could be because Mississippi is I know it's a very Christian state. I don't know if that has to do with religious. I should say religious.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's that, but I also think like Biloxi happens to not be the best area. Like,
yeah.
There's, I don't want to offend anyone, but
All right, well, that's fun. So you started in Atlanta and then went west?
down south.
Oh, okay.
And then southwest.
Nice. I'm not such a big traveler.
Oh no.
I don't know. No, I feel like being on a road trip like that would just like give me so much anxiety. I don't know. Like I like New York. I like going to Miami, and then I'm going to LA like in a week and a half. Like that'll be fun, but only for 4 nights because I don't know how much time I could spend out of New York.
I will say when I come back from vacation, I'm disoriented. I'm
Totally,
not
I hate
relaxed.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Like going there is cool, being there is cool, but coming back, I'm like a mess. I'm just like, so.
Sometimes that happens with me. Did that happen with you from LA? Or no, you're like back with it?
I couldn't function for a whole week. I was like, I didn't know how to like write anymore. I was like, what is my jokes? Like, what is comedy? How do I even write a joke? I was just so out of it. I don't know. I still am kind of out of it.
So what do you guys have on plan for the show this summer?
Summer.
Yeah.
This summer. We kind of take it like
Month by month?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm doing.
We have Al Franken headlining.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Now, how did you get him? Do you know him like personally, or you just reached out to him?
It was through the club. They set it up. So.
I didn't know he did comedy. Was he a journalist guy?
No, he started out in SNL. He was a stand-up. He's
which is kind of insane. Like you start out at SNL, then transition to politics.
Yeah. So you guys are very excited for that show, obviously.
Yeah, we're really excited.
And what else?
Can't
What else is going on individually? What do you have planned within the next few months? And then Elle, also you two, planned within the next few months. Monthly is like a month-to-month thing, unless you're like on tour. So I'm just like asking maybe a dead-end question.
Yeah, it's month to month.
I think so. I'm going to Miami in 2 weeks. I'm visiting grandparents and doing shows out there.
Are you doing stuff in Miami or Fort Lauderdale?
Both, but mostly Miami. But my grandparents live in Fort Lauderdale, so I'll be doing that stuff. And then I think I'm trying to like submit to like festivals and stuff like that. I got a new 5-minute tape, so freaking just trying to make that better and all that good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, normal, just trying to get better, get up as much as I can.
Yeah.
New York is the place for it also. You know,
Definitely.
I feel like people ask me sometimes, like, what's better, LA or New York for comedy? And I would just say New York by a landslide, right?
For stand up, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I mean, well, you would know more than me because you were, you did you done other cities, but
No, I mean, I don't know. I think that's just like what everyone says, so I believe everyone, you know?
Fair enough. No. I've also heard it from a lot of people. Everyone can't be wrong.
I've had no proof, but everyone says it. Like, all right, I guess this is the thing.
Okay, so let's get to the next topic. Favorite comedy club. We'll start with you, Amanda.
Oh, my favorite, The Stand. I love The Stand.
Nice. Easy, quick, simple. Elle, how about you?
Honestly, I think The Stand too. It's just good
hang is
vibes,
good.
good hang. They let the comics hang there, and you can see everyone. Like I've seen, the best comics go through there.
So do you guys have like a dream guest on the show that you've almost got, but like you're trying to book and they're always busy, or like no one really in particular?
Yes.
Maybe like a headliner or something. People
Miller.
ask me that sometimes.
TJ Miller almost did ours. I love Jessica Kirsten.
Uh-huh.
Actually, I worked with Judy Gold on Saturday. I opened for Judy Gold.
I saw that.
And
Nice.
you're going to like this story. So I opened for Judy Gold, and she's like, she talked to her son. They were FaceTiming. And then she was like, oh, do you know Amanda? And he was like, oh, yeah, the Shish Show. And then he goes, you should do the Shish Show, Mom. And then when she goes, I want to do your show. And she left. And I was like, oh, my God.
Shut up! That's so cool.
Yeah. So, my mom's favorite comedian of all time is Judy Gold. So this
Wow.
was like,
Your mom's going to be pumped.
She was
That's great.
like, it's called kvelling in Yiddish.
Yeah, of course. Kvelling.
Yeah.
Elle doesn't know.
Oh,
We
you
know.
that. No, but my mom was like,
I thought it was kvetching. No, kvetching is like bad.
kvetching is
Complaining.
Kvelling is like
is.
excited, like
I'm kvelling.
like you're like bragging. You're like
Yeah.
kvel, or like
Yeah,
pride.
yeah.
It's like pride. So, but that's my mom's favorite comedian of all time, and so I was just like, oh my God, like, and I, like meeting her for, I was just like, I've never been so nervous to meet someone because my mom just like.
Well, how did you get the gig to open for her the other day?
Through governors.
Okay.
So it was cool, and then she's awesome. She's so fucking nice. She's so fucking down to earth and nice.
I don't know if I've
All these big
ever
names.
seen her.
All these insanely talented. I mean, not that I've met all of them. I'm talking all the. I haven't met all of them, but it seems like anyone you meet that's like insanely talented, insanely respected is so nice and down to earth, right?
They say don't meet your heroes. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know if I believe that. And then also, like, apparently you'll never be told you're not doing as much as somebody who's doing better than you. I don't know. I read that quote on Instagram probably.
Wait, what does that mean?
Like, so somebody who's doing way better than you will never like put you down and like, oh, you're not doing enough, or like critique you. You know, you always get critiqued by people who are not doing as well as you, I think.
Dude, totally. I feel like I already feel that now. Like people who are not threatened by you are like, yeah, you're funny, you're good. Like they're nice to you. But people who are threatened by you, they do not fuck with you.
So what has been the most dramatic moment in comedy for each one of you guys? Maybe somebody coming off the stage and smacking you or something like that?
Oh, whoa.
Maybe not that intense, but something intense.
Let's see. Well, one time I don't even know if it's called, but basically I don't know if it's called misgendered, but I thought a dude was a woman. And so I said like, oh, miss. And he was like, and it was so dark. Okay. It was so dark.
Oh, in the club. Why is every comedy club so dark too? We need more lights in
Yeah,
comedy clubs. She's like, that would easily happen.
I mean, it's better if it's dark, like for the whole experience for the audience. But then it's like, okay, we're trying to do crowd work. I can't tell. And this guy was like more like femme or whatever, but he definitely was like a straight dude. And then I realized he was a guy and he got really upset. And then he like was yelling, fuck you, like during my set. And
Where was this?
It was like last summer.
No, I mean like in an intimate setting?
Oh
or?
yeah. It was at the Pear. So it was.
Oh, man.
And honestly, like I got a good crowd work clip out of it.
Did you post
it
it?
was okay. Yeah, it was like a little bit ago. But then afterwards, I saw him smoking outside, and I was like, "Hey, I'm really sorry. It's
I get a drag."
And I was like, "I'm sorry, it's really dark in there." And he's like, I know you meant to do it. You don't care. Like you were doing it on purpose." And I was like, "What?" And then he blew cigarette smoke in my face. Yeah.
This is so dramatic.
Yeah, it's
All right, that was a good one. Amanda, your turn.
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess one time I got heckled badly at this like Connecticut show I did in Connecticut. But I mean, it wasn't that bad. This woman was just like, "That's not," she was just like, "That's not funny," something, whatever. But the most embarrassing moment of comedy is when I called up Osama Siddiqui to the stage, and I accidentally started saying, "Everyone, Osama bin," and I stopped, and the whole crowd was like,
No.
"Yes!" And he was so cool about it. You know, it's Osama.
Yeah,
Like, cool.
that's amazing.
But he was like.
Oh my God, I'm literally cringing here for you. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Well, in my defense, his old Instagram name used to be Osama bin Laden.
Okay.
So
That's fair.
I wasn't thinking about Osama bin Laden. I was thinking about Osama bin Laden.
But like blowing smoke in your face is pretty intense.
So rude.
Yeah,
Oh
is
my
rude.
God.
yeah, and I have quite a temper on me, but that I don't like. I very controlled. I cannot freak out at people, but like I wanted to punch him in the face, but I would never. That's like passed out, not like punch, but like I would. I don't know what I would have done, but it was like there was fury inside of me, but I just walked away. But yeah, you can get there. There was a comic not too long after at the Pair. He like some audience member was getting wild, and a comic like punched an audience member from the Pair, and then he got banned from the Pair. It's like you can't hit people.
Yeah.
Was this like within the last 2 weeks? He got like inspiration from Will Smith.
Oh,
This was a
no.
long time ago.
He's the OG, I guess. Yeah, it was a while ago, like 6 months ago. But
Holy
yeah,
shit.
isn't that crazy?
Things get ratchet at the
Yeah,
Pair.
insane.
The Paris.
Insane. Well, also,
I love it.
sometimes New York people do get intense on like the later night shows. Maybe like I've done shows like
Yeah.
12 a.m. and then that's like usually the squad you don't want to see in like
Yeah.
a comedy audience. Just because like 12 a.m. like people, chances are they've had dinner, drinks, and then they're going to a comedy show. So they've definitely had their fair share of drinks at them.
Yeah, I love how you like asked for our cringy stories. And
Yeah,
then
and then I was like, by the way, I don't have one. Well, I wanted to know if like you guys had any specific cringe stories, but you do. I don't know. I guess well the other day my dad was at one of my shows and I had to tell him after the show, I was like, Dad, you need to stop talking so much. He was like, I thought I was being helpful. I was like, you don't need to answer questions when I'm transitioning. I'm like, anybody in here smoke weed? Woo, I smoke weed. All right, Dad. Like I was just transitioning, keeping it moving. Do your parents show you your shows?
My dad came to New York Comedy Club a couple weeks ago, and he was talking to the audience, to the guy. It was Zach, Zach McGovern.
Yeah, of course.
So Zach has this bit about Spirit Airlines. And my dad's like, yeah, they charge you for everything. They charge you a fortune. He's just I'm like, Dad,
charge you a fortune.
And he's like, because Zach was just like, it's cheap, and they add on. And my dad's
Yeah.
like, they charge you for everything. They charge you a fortune.
oh god.
Zach's like, all right.
And I'm like, Dad, you can't. And I said to Zach, I'm like, I'm so sorry. He's like, no, I get it. It's fine. I'm like, he doesn't know that he's being rude. Like,
Yeah. I mean, if somebody's talking or saying something relatable on stage, and it was one of my first shows, or like, I don't know, I would talk to the person on stage too. Maybe I had like a few drinks. I'm like, oh, I relate to that. Yeah, Spirit Airlines does charge for everything. So I relate to it. So like parents, I understand getting involved. Do your parents ever get involved in a show?
No, they've never seen me do stand up.
Stop.
Yeah, I like it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are they going to come in Fort Lauderdale when you're down there?
No, they live. My dad lives in Boston. My mom lives in Chicago. So they're up there. But yeah, I don't really want them to see me do stand-up.
Really? Well, eventually.
Eventually,
want them, right?
yeah. Eventually, like when I'm like really good, but I just don't want them. I'm not like there yet, and I just like it's kind of like my thing. And
But they're supportive.
Yeah, they want me to do whatever
Makes you happy.
makes me happy.
I was talking to Elle before you got here. I've said that a million times this podcast, so we're gonna have to edit some of the times that I said that. But like the people who I forget what the topic I was bringing up, but like the people who you went to college with.
Oh yeah.
Who are you still close with, like in terms of college? Like people who live in New York City, or people who are from Chicago, or what?
I have one friend from college that lives in New York, and she was like my only friend when I came out here, like that I knew. Like I knew some other people from college, but and so I'm friends with her still, and she had like all these other friends from like
She sees you perform though a lot, or not really?
Sometimes, like I don't really drag my friends out too much unless it's like a big show or like I need them there. Like I've brought them to a bringer before.
Nice. Yeah, of course. Gotta bring out the whole squad.
But yeah, everyone's super supportive and
Good to hear.
Yeah.
Amanda, how about you?
Well, when I first started comedy, my friends were really supportive, but they kind of took it personally that had this thing outside of the crew. I guess I'm I shouldn't trash talk, but I didn't think my friends didn't understand how much it entailed. So when I wasn't hanging out as much or going to brunch when they were going to
it's
brunch,
like every night.
Yeah, like they thought, like when I first started, it was bringers, which, you know, it's such a weird, I was just thinking of that right now. It's so weird because like you bring all your friends to these bringers and you're like not good yet at all. You're still a bringer. And then that's it. Like, they're like, I don't want to see you. Right. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
They come to your bringers and they've seen your jokes. And then you're like, come to another show. But like, then they think you're still that. Right. You're like wasting your like bad years on your friends.
Yeah, it's also like, I mean, doing like the comedy show, there was not one person over the last year that I haven't texted in my phone book. You know, like come to the show, come to the show, come to the show. And then once a person comes to one show, I mean, it could be completely different, like, you know, a few months down the line, but people feel like, okay, that was the one show and then they're the same, right? Is that kind of what you're saying?
Exactly. And it's like, how many shows are you going to make them come to? Or
Yeah.
the same, you know, just like, but I don't think they understood how much what you have to do to pursue comedy. I don't think they, you know.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. So you're not going to be going, you can't go to, I mean, I guess you go to a brunch, but, you know.
Yeah, anything really at night. It's tough.
Yeah. Your life becomes comedy. And you may not be hanging out with the squad, the girls' trips, and like you may not be doing that as much. And they may take it personally, which sometimes happens, but, you know.
You always got to find a balance.
Yeah.
You know? All right, guys. Well, I have a cryotherapy session in a little bit. I'm going with Giulio Gallerati. Giulio, if you're listening, I'm pumped, man. I'm also a little bit scared. I don't know what to expect. Have you ever done it, Amanda?
No, but I've heard great things.
We'll see. Amanda, thank you so much for coming. Elle, thank you so much for coming. Guys, thanks for tuning in to the Ted Jones World podcast. Follow these lovely girls. Guys, please shout out your Instagram really quick, Elle.
@ @Elle Orlando _
We'll put that right there. Amanda, your Instagram.
The Amanda Gail.
Absolutely. Guys, thank you so much for coming, and we'll see you guys soon.
Woo! Bye.
Thank you.